In the last video, we bought this brand new, pre-owned 2006 Yamaha Blaster. Now this thing's been sitting outside for 6 months, and when it was put away, the previous owner said it did run. So it does have compression. We're gonna check to see if it has spark, and we're gonna see if we can get it started in a minute here. Now we're also gonna be tearing this down for a complete restoration, but before we do that, I don't like working with dirty parts. I usually like to clean my stuff up before I tear it down. So I'm gonna see if I can clean these plastics up and make them look at least presentable. Now I'm fixing to pull the spark plug to see if we have any spark. And if we do, I think this thing's gonna fire up. But before we do that, I realized I completely neglected in the last video to go over why I even bought this quad. Now most of you know that I'm going to be doing a top quad series with mid-size quads. This is going to be one of the competitors. So we're gonna have a Kawasaki Lakota, a Yamaha Blaster, a Polaris Trailblazer 250, and a Honda 300 EX. That's why I bought this quad. Now I know a lot of you are looking forward to me making this thing an all-out race quad, but for this series, I want the machines to be mostly stock. What that means is I'll be doing a fresh engine. We're gonna rebuild everything. It's basically gonna be like a restoration. But the good news is, once the series is over, we're gonna put a 240 kit on this thing, and basically the sky's the limit. So now you guys know why we bought this. Nice. Let's see what's going on in this air box. Have a look in there, guys. We've got a nice and dirty air filter and some high-vis orange nitrile gloves. The tear-off for them anyways. I like orange, so I'm liking this thing already. This is a sweet quad. All right, well, I'm down here to pull the spark plug boot off and check for spark, and I already noticed something that could cause, or could have been causing this thing not to want to start. And I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but the tip of the spark plug is basically unthreaded, almost falling off. That could definitely make it so that you're not getting good sparks. So let me pull that thing out. Let's see what the plug looks like. It's pretty tight in here. I did not expect that for a Blaster. Air-cooled two-stroke. Usually they're the easiest to work on. I think we can get it though. It's pretty loose. Dude, what the f? Look at that, man. The electrode is just smashed right up on there. There's no gap at all. I've never seen that before. If you look at a good plug, you can see it's like the porcelain fell down or something on this. That's very weird. But this thing would never start like that. Let's throw a new plug in. Oh, let's see if this one gets spark. And we'll put the plug in there if we're getting spark. I bet you this thing runs fine. Well, something else I discovered is that there's no key on this thing. It was bypassed. Interesting. But this can be kind of difficult with kickstart because the whole quad wants to shake as you're kicking it. Oh, we got spark, for sure. It's actually really good too. You guys might even be able to see this. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. All right, I'm already liking this thing more than the 660. That thing took how long to get spark? Psh, got this one on the first day. I also noticed the plug that I pulled out, it was like a Chinese spark plug with no markings on it. It just literally says spark plug. All right, now we've got compression and we've got spark. And look, this thing's got gas in it. Actually, it doesn't smell bad. I wonder if he put fresh gas in here to try to start it before listing it for sale. God only knows if there's oil. There's no oil can, I don't think, so it has to be pre-mixed. All right. We've got compression. We've got spark. The only thing I'm not sure about is fuel because I can feel the thumb throttle. It's slow to return, so that means the carburetor's probably gummed up. But I'm gonna I guess I'll kick it over a couple times. I doubt it's gonna start. And I'm gonna shoot a shot of starting fluid on the air filter. I know that's against popular opinion, but believe it or not, a little bit of starting fluid isn't gonna hurt it. And they actually do make starting fluids with lubricants in them, guys, if you didn't know that. They're usually for outboard motors. Is the ignition on? Doesn't matter, no key. Okay. It's got good compression. Let's give it a little bit of starting fluid. Just a shot, just a shot. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah! Whoa! It runs, dude. I think it's not getting fuel. Let's see if maybe if we get it running for a minute, it loosens up a little bit. Yeah, that throttle, it actually sticks for a second. Probably get a good carb cleaning. Yeah, it's just revving to the moon because it's getting no gas. I guess we could clean that Chinese carburetor and then we could probably ride this thing. Well, I have to say, I'm quite bummed. It's about 4 o'clock right now and it gets dark at like 4:30. So after we clean this, it's gonna be dark and then it's supposed to rain for the next 2 days. So we're gonna have to wait that out. Let's see what our gas looks like here. We'll put it on reserve. Ugh. Maybe that gas, it looks like some green sludgy poop. Oh, I see, is that water in there I see? Ooh, we're gonna take a close look at this. That is definitely water, wow. I'm glad it flows though. That's what she said. Oh man, that's not good. Definitely needs to be flushed. This is old gas, man. I can't believe it doesn't stink. It smells like normal gas. It's not though. I'm gonna put a little bit of fresh gas in here to flush also. Just to clean out the fuel petcock and the fuel line at least a little bit. And then this won't go to waste. Once I'm done draining this out, I'll put this in my neighbor's car. It's amazing, it like immediately comes out clear now. Before I pull this carb off, I wanted to show you guys how sticky this throttle is. You see it hangs for like a second up there. And then this brake, check this out. It gets stuck up here at wedges. It bumps right about there, and then as soon as you squeeze it anymore, it's almost like a parking brake. Got a parking brake on both sides. You got a thumb throttle on both. I got a throttle on both sides, and a parking brake on both sides. Man, this quad. We should call this quad dual. All right, let's get this carb out of here so we can clean it. Oh yeah, I see the green carburetor sludge. That stuff is dangerous, man. I've had carburetors get stuck open because of that. I mean, it looks new. All right, let's see what we're working with here. Here's the carburetor. It is definitely an aftermarket. It looks fairly new. That's what the previous owner said anyways. Oh, and here's that spark plug that I was talking about. You can see there's no markings or anything on it. It says just spark plug. But I did some research, and this is actually a performance plug. It has an adjustable gap from outside. When you spin this, it's actually adjustable. So this is actually a really rare item, and they're really expensive. It's definitely still good. So I think I'll put this for sale rather than just throwing it out. I was thinking like $899. I got put that for sale on eBay in my eBay store. All right, let's crack into this thing using our JIS screwdrivers, Japanese Industrial Standard. If you don't know what that is, that's basically, if you look at a screw, you can see this one has that little dot there. That means it's a Japanese Industrial Standard. And the reason these get stripped out so frequently is because people don't use JIS screwdrivers. They look almost exactly like standard, but they just bite better. I wonder what happened to the OEM carb. If it's probably thrown out. Here we go. Man, is it stuck? Oh no. Damn it. The gasket is ruined forever. Actually, it looks pretty clean. Let's see if this thing will take... Damn it. The whole tube came out. I want to see if this will take... oh, it's got an OEM jet, it looks like. Either that or it's one of the fake markings, because that is actually very common. 100? Oh my gosh. If that's a true size, I think that's incredibly small. A 100 main jet, that we have to change that. Let's see if, I guess this is the pilot here. I've never seen jets like this. At least it has a size on it though. It says Keehan 43. I think that's stock. I'm sure this is not an actual Keehan jet though. All right, now we've got some good and bad news. I'll start with the good news, so that way nobody gets too sad. The gasket we had was ruined. But the good news is, our new carburetor has the same style gasket, only it's rubber instead of paper. That other one shredded because it was paper. So we'll be good on the gasket surface. The bad news is though, that this jet is not a genuine jet, and the threads are different. So there's our non-genuine, our size 100. And now here's a 260 genuine jet. This is what I'd like to run in there. I think that should be about right. And you can see it doesn't want to thread in there. And you can visually see it doesn't have the right size. And unfortunately, our new carburetor, it does not take genuine jets either, so that could be a problem. Now we're gonna fix this. It's about to get real jank. Oh, before I do that, check this out though. So this is the 260, that's what really should be in there, and this is what came out. Let's see if we can get some light behind there. It is tremendously too small, the jet that came out. That would have, if it was running, it wouldn't have with that bad gas, but if it was running, this would be super lean and that would definitely cause the engine to fail. But just crazy that they send these carburetors out with these small jets and they can't even be switched out really. I don't know if this new carburetor, I'm not sure what size that jet is, but that's a common problem I see with a lot of these aftermarket two-stroke carbs. Now this is about to get real jank real quick. We're actually going to open this up because at least the aftermarket jet is smaller. The threads are a little bit smaller. So we're gonna be able to, I'm gonna open it up and I've got the tap for the OEM style. And I think we'll be able to make it work. You know, keep in mind, we're just making this run. I don't plan on reusing this carburetor or anything, but honestly, this will probably work just fine. So let's see if I can drill this out. All right, here we go. About to commence jank. Now we'll run a tap in. That should be it. See, that's all it takes. It's just a little ingenuity, and we've created a carburetor that can accept OEM style jets. Nope, jets don't fit. We need a special tap for that, and we don't have it. But the good news is I've got this OEM carburetor from the OG Banshee, and this is gonna work just fine. So I've got this fixed up with a genuine 260 main jet and a 32.5, which is the stock size for the Pilot. And I think it'll at least be good for running around the yard. All right, now I put fresh gas in there. But I'm also gonna swap out this filter. This looks pretty dirty. It's easy enough to do. Got the new filter here anyways. I also want to take these hand guards off so that we don't have the the second parking brake on here, since I do plan to ride this thing around. And then if you guys remember, we're missing a foot peg down here. I'm hoping that the bolt isn't snapped off inside. It appears that it's okay, but the threads are just gunked up. Not a problem. I got taps. Wow, for once, something was actually fixed with ease. Nice. Oh, dude. You got the oil mod going on. Look at that, man. I don't know how the hell you'd be getting this off without a pair of pliers. What worries me about that is that might mean the oil hasn't been changed in this thing in a long time. I don't know though. Just make sure there's oil in there. No, I definitely see oil on the gear. I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil in here for safe measure. Remember, this is gonna be a complete teardown. I'm really not too worried about it. And we're almost there. A couple more things I wanna do before we fire this thing up. Got some loose fender flares, both sides. You can see I've got some OEM hardware in here. Even though we may not be reusing these fenders, fenders flopping around, that's just not good for them. You can stretch out the holes and stuff, crack them, put stress marks. So let's save them. They're actually in pretty good shape. I also just noticed the pipe doesn't even have springs on it. Oh man, I don't even see a place to mount the springs. Well, I don't see a spot to hook the spring up. I have a feeling a tab is missing or something. But what I can do is bolt up. The top exhaust mount is there. It just needs to have a bolt run through it. So at least that way our exhaust won't fall off. And one final thing I'm doing. Oh, this cable is adjusted all the way out. Well, let's see, it should still work. Oh my gosh. Check this out, man. I was seeing down here if there's an adjustment for this clutch cable, and look at this. This base bolt for the cylinder is finger loose. Makes me wonder. It feels like the other ones are tight, but man, I think I'm gonna at least go around and tighten down the base nuts on this cylinder before we go ripping around the yard. Man, if the previous owner really paid somebody to put this top end on and do the work to this thing, I hope he didn't pay too much because this is some piss poor work. Yep, the other base bolts weren't tight either. All right, well, I would say that we're basically 100% restored now. It's actually a pretty tight machine once you tighten up the foot pegs. Let's see if it starts up without any starting fluid. I can smell the gas. Put it on a choke. This carburetor hasn't been used in ages. I was not expecting that. It smells normal. Rich. I can't believe it hasn't died yet. I might have just put too much oil in the gas too. I kind of guesstimated and mixed it in the tank. That is quite smoky. It actually doesn't run all that bad. The only thing I noticed is it was doing that little burp thing. That could have to do with, there could be a little bit of water still in the gas. It could be like in the intake tract or something that has to clear out. It could be crank seals. Not 100% sure, but it does actually run pretty good. Super, super rich. Like I said, I mixed the gas in the tank and kind of eyeballed it. So I didn't have any two-stroke mix on hand. I just really wanted to get it fired up. Unfortunately, right now it's raining and it's supposed to do this for the next 2 days. So we're gonna have to wait that out and then we'll rip it around, see if the transmission's good and stuff. I'm excited. All right, guys, it's been a couple days and the rain has stopped. I was waiting for it to get nicer and I'm afraid it looks like it's actually gonna rain again maybe. So I figure we're just gonna rip it around. We'll do it on we'll just maybe take a cruiser on the neighborhood or something. I think the grass is gonna be a little bit too wet to rip around on the grass, but whatever, man. Before we do that though, we have to do a very scientific re-ratio. Now I think we might have put just a little bit too much two-stroke oil in this thing. So we're gonna do a very scientific process. This is called a re-ratio. I need you guys to just stop talking for a minute. I need to concentrate. This is very precise. We're going to make the ratio thinner, therefore causing less smoke. With that exact amount, we should be at exactly 30-to-1 ratio oil to gas. All right, here we go, man. I'm really excited for this. Yamaha Blaster. It has been forever since I've ridden one of these things. Put her on reserve, pull the choke out. Oh, if we can get that to stay out. Nope. Let's see if she fires up. It is a little bit brisk today. It's not terrible. See if I can hold this choke out. Hey, there we go. Oh, what happened? It almost sounded like it just got cut off from fuel there. Oh no, what's going on? Why is it cutting out like that? That sounds like it could be an electrical thing, the way it just cuts off. I'll be honest, I'm not too confident in all the connections and everything on this thing. So it very well could be something like that. Oh, what is going on? I see some leakage. All right. I'm not taking chances. Let's go for it. Oh, no. I don't want to go too far with this thing. It's actually got some power. It's not. Let's let it warm up. Maybe it'll clear out a little bit. You know, it's really not that bad. The rear brake works. Front brake works. Seems like everything works. Dude, the turning radius on this thing. It's so tight. Not bad, man. I think I hear some clutch slipping going on. All right, let me make sure we're hitting all the gears here. All right, this is first. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. We got them all. That's good. We got all our transmission gears. That's actually one of the things. Apparently, you can build a ton of power with a Blaster But once you get into like the 40 horsepower range, the transmissions explode. It's actually, I'm surprised. Now that we've got some gas flowing through this thing, oh man, this thing's a blast. It's a blaster. It doesn't have that much power, but there's like, there's enough. It's got enough torque. You could have fun with this thing. And I mean, God only knows what the condition of the top end is. But now, let's check out the smoke level. What do we got going on? Doesn't look nearly as bad as it was. Not bad. And this could be a major mistake. This has braking parts all over it, but you know what, man? YOLO! My shoelace got wrapped around the shifter. Dude, this thing is really fast. I'm shocked. Oh man, you know, I've ridden blasters before. I knew they were fun, but I didn't think this one was gonna run this well. This runs really well. It'll be interesting when we pull the top end off to see what the condition is. Oh man, I want to take it down to the basin, but I think because of those little like issues we're having, I don't know if that's electrical or whatever, the basin's about a mile from the house and I don't feel like pushing this thing back. And the basin also gets really wet and like marshy. It rained for 2 days, so that's probably a bad idea. Man, but the next step is washing this and then tearing it down. I mean, it's gonna suck not being able to ride this for a while. You know, it's actually quite tight. Like, there's no play in the steering. The bearings feel pretty good. And now that it's, you know, we warmed up and everything, it feels like the clutch is actually okay too. I think we're gonna call it there just because that neighbor actually smiled at me and I'd like to keep it that way. We've done a little bit of ripping here and I think that's gonna be that. I'm very pleased with this. All right, man, hell yeah. I can't believe how well that ran. Here at the Certified Ass Dyno Lab, we use nothing but the finest technology and the best certified Ass Dyno technicians. When you're looking for quality, reliability, and downright sheer accuracy, Ass Dyno Technicians is where you come. Hey Todd, pass me the 3/8" ratchet, will you? Oh man, shit. So that's why we put one of our finest Ass Dyno technicians on the Yamaha Blaster case. Let's have a look. All right, guys, here we are with our certified Ass Dyno chart. My certified ass has never ridden quite such a stunning machine out of the box. We're gonna start down here at about idle, around 2,000 RPMs, and realistically, guys, this thing makes pretty decent power. Right off of the bat, it has more torque than you would expect, and then it has that hard-hitting two-stroke power, and I honestly think this makes a little bit more than 20 horsepower. The way that it sits, probably right around 10,000 RPMs, and then it drops off into absolutely nothing. That FMF pipe has no over rev whatsoever, but a pretty decent power curve for a small two-stroke. Now, if we compare that to the Lakota's horsepower, which is quite different, it has a lot down at the bottom, and then it kind of goes off into really nothing. It's almost like the opposite of the Blaster. It's gonna be really interesting comparing the two. I don't think the Lakota actually makes that much power either. Regardless, it's gonna be one hell of a showdown, and that is your certified Ass Dyno. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I was not expecting this to run that well. It almost seems like it would be a sin to tear this thing down. I mean, it was so much fun to ride. I want to ride it like right now. Again, that was a ton of fun to ride. But we can definitely at least clean it up for now. I'm sure we'll tear it down. I mean, it's fun around the yard, but I don't know how reliable this thing would be, especially, you know, like we were saying with the electrical stuff. I'd be afraid to take this someplace and it feels great and all, and then it just randomly shuts down when you're out on the trails. It definitely needs a good looking over, you know, especially like, you know, the base bolts were loose on the cylinder head and stuff, so it's really not that great. But anyways, let's clean it up. What I really want to do is try to get this mossy, dark, black stuff off of the plastics. I think we can get that off. What we're going to be using is, it's a Chemical Guys solution. It's the first time I've ever tried that, but this is definitely not the first time I'm using Awesome degreaser. You can get this stuff at Dollar Tree. It's now $1.25. You don't get as much, but still a great value. It's the best degreaser, and it's great on white plastics too for cleaning them up and bringing them back. You know, not like brand new, but it does, a lot of times it'll take like the yellowing out of them. So I've got a Greenworks, very 18 PSI pressure washer. Just gonna blast as much of the dirt and grease off, and then we'll scrub on these plastics and we'll see how we can get her looking. First, like to just get everything wet, and it just kind of loosens up the dirt a little bit. Let it sit just for a minute, breaks it down just a little bit. All right, let's just hop right to the tank because we know before and afters is what everybody wants to see. I bagged up this gas cap because I just don't trust it, and there was water in the gas. So I'm gonna take some extra safety measures there. Just gonna blast this thing first, and then we'll scrub it down, see what it looks like. All right, well, blasting it's not gonna do it, that's for sure. Let's give her a couple shots of the Awesome degreaser. I think this stuff is gonna come off because you can see where my knees were rubbing. It cleaned up a little bit. And then when I'm doing this, I like to spray some on the sponge as well. It's been about 30 seconds. Oh man, I'm honestly kind of disappointed. I thought it was gonna come right off. This is a really soft brush too, so maybe if we use a brush that's got a little bit more firm bristles, we could get that stuff off. I'm sure we can get it off, like a magic eraser or something. We can clean it up. All right, potential satisfaction here. Lackluster at best. All right, well that really wasn't as satisfying as I thought it was gonna be. So I think what I'm gonna do is just physically clean this thing as much as I can, and then we'll pay a little bit more attention on these plastics after the fact. This thing actually cleaned up really nice. It doesn't look quite as nice as its big brother over here, this Banshee. You know, of course, I just totally restored that. So now I know that I said that I was gonna spend a little bit more time on these plastics to try to clean them up, but I did try a number of things off camera and it's pretty stubborn. So I think there are ways to clean this up. I just don't know how much time I want to invest in that because I'm not sure if I'm gonna use these plastics. If you guys remember in the last video, I was deciding on red as the color scheme for this thing. And I also put up a post on Instagram. I put a couple different variations of this thing. One of them was called the original crispy chicken sandwich, which was the color that I showed in the last video. And that one won by like 90%. I had ordered red plastics for this thing. I found OEM ones for the 1997 year that it appeared that I was going to be able to get them brand new. Unfortunately, I did get an email back from Rocky Mountain ATV. Those plastics are discontinued. Now, the only colors that I can find, and they're aftermarket, they're Meyer, are in black or white. I can't really seem to find any other colors. I'm sure if I do some more searching, I can find something. If you guys know where I can get red plastics or any other plastics, short of painting them. I do not want to paint plastics. I really don't like doing that. The only things that I would maybe paint are the tank cover and the hood because they don't get as much friction. But the tank cover, you know, you'd get knee rub and stuff. I prefer to get real plastics. Anyways, because of that, it could be really time consuming to restore these plastics and bring up the color. So because I'm not sure if I'm using these, I'm not gonna put any more time into them just yet. But you can see, man, it really did clean up really nice. I took off the shock covers while I was cleaning, and there's a pretty nice set of shocks under here. A lot of this stuff just cleaned up really nicely. So even the way that this thing sits, I mean, if you did put some more time into the plastics, put a new seat cover on it, you know, recoated the wheels. I think the wheels make a huge difference. And then, you know, I would take the plastics off, fix up the wire harness and stuff like that, and just make sure there's nothing that's loose. This could actually be a pretty solid machine the way that it sits. This is a good buy, man. So I think for this video, we're gonna call it here. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this machine. You think I got a good deal? What do you think I should do as far as the color scheme? That's gonna be challenging for this one. But otherwise, if you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps out tremendously. And also consider subscribing for more videos like this. And if you wanna follow this series, or if you wanna see the series on this Banshee, there's tons of ATV content and dirt bike content on the channel. I appreciate everybody that subscribes. I appreciate all you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.